Hi, this is The Greatest Story Ever Played. I'm Dan, and I'm joined by Andrew.
Hello.
Welcome back. Really glad to have you back to talk games again.
Yeah. Very excited to be on again. Always happy to be here. Thanks for having me, as always.
Yeah, totally. If you don't know Andrew, he formerly did a podcast called Good Game, Great Game that had some similar kind of, setup to this, where it was one game at a time sort of deal. So, and that backlog is on the internet, so please go check it out. It's great stuff. Also, he was last on last year when we talked about Last Day of June, so another cool indie game.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you're doing right now that you'd want to tell people about before we dive into Goose Game?
I don't know. Code's been weird. I mean, I'm in the, I probably mentioned this last time, but I'm in an a cappella group called Black to Gold. You can follow us at Black to Gold Music on Instagram, and we're going to be releasing an album end of summer, beginning of fall, which is very exciting. So that's cool if you like a cappella music.
That is exciting. That's awesome. Really cool. Yeah, no, that's great. And I'll, I think last time I put the link to Black to Gold in the description, but I'll do that again as well, along with the Good Game, Great Game stuff. So,
heck yeah.
Yeah, go check Andrew's stuff out. He is on the internet doing lots of things. So, very cool.
Just existing, doing my best.
Doing his best. Yeah. But what we're here to talk about today is Untitled Goose Game. Of course, got to talk about that goose. I think before we can dive deep into our thoughts, really, we've got a description here. Would you want to grab that, Andrew?
Sure. All right. Untitled Goose Game is a slapstick stealth sandbox where you are a goose let loose on an unsuspecting village. Make your way around town from people's back gardens to the high street shops to the village green, setting up pranks, stealing hats, honking a lot, and generally ruining everyone's day. There
Perfect.
it is.
That's perfect. And also, this game was developed by House. They had another game before Goose Game called Push Me, Pull You, which I've never had heard of, but it sort of looks like a cat-dog situation where it's two people who are connected at like the torso and its arms on each side, and I think you roll around or something. So,
Oh my god, it sounds like the kind of chaos that feels on brand for them at this point.
no, yeah, it does. I know. I was like, how haven't I heard of this? This seems like this would fit this chaos well. So, yeah. That's Goose Game. I would say, as you said, that description is on point for what this game is. Normally, we jump into kind of a non-spoiler section before we go deeper into the game. I guess we'll talk about that a little briefly. If you haven't heard of this game, a little bit about it. Like the description really says, this is a silly game. It's just causing chaos as a goose. And there's puzzles that are fun. And I would say ranging in difficulty. Some of them aren't too hard. Some of them are a little tougher.
Yeah.
And if that sounds like something you like, you'll probably like this. If that doesn't sound like something you like, you probably will not like this. I think this game is very much what it says it is.
Yeah. I would say, like, if you're remotely interested in thinking about this, look up the trailer online. That it shows you everything you need to know. Like, it's really simple in its premise.
Yep. Yeah, it's awesome. I think I actually heard about this game from listening to your guys' podcast back in the day.
Yeah.
You guys talked about it, and I was like, all right, I gotta play that sometime, and like just had it on a wish list forever. And so I finally was like, all right, I gotta do it. So yeah, I've had this kind of on my radar for a long time, so I'm glad to play it. I think on the other side, and this is definitely a me problem, not the Goose Game's problem, but I think I did overhype myself a little bit, because I was like, this is going to be like the legendary comedy video game of sorts. I think I like held it, I think I revered it too high.
Yeah.
Versus, like, since before this, I've played things like Donut County or Rain on Your Parade, which are both also, like, comedy fun games that involve, like, puzzles or different things like that. And this is good and probably better than them, but I think I just had my sights set a little too high. I really enjoyed this game, but that was just something that was interesting coming into this, is I think I just imagined it even greater than, like, probably was reasonable.
I don't think I possibly could have. This game was, like, really the launching point for my journey into my brand being Goose. Okay, so here's my background with geese. In college, so this would probably have been like 2010, 2009. Boy, just dated myself.
I thought you were going to say 20 years ago, and I was like, what?
20 years ago.
It's like, you're not that old.
Yeah, no, I just use moisturizer. It keeps me young. So it was like 2009, 2010, something around there. I was playing Cards Against Humanity with friends, as everyone did in those years. And I specifically remember the card that I was the judge for that round, and the card that I picked up was J.K. Rowling's next book, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Blank. And everyone who handed in cards did like sexually suggestive jokes like most people do in Cards Against Humanity, because like
Right.
half of the cards that you have to hand in are that anyway. And we were all freshmen in college. It was the only humor we knew. But somebody literally just put in geese. And I said the word geese, and it's like, I don't know, geese is just a kind of funny word. And so I giggled at the word, and then I was like, okay, but that's probably not it. And then I slowly started thinking about it more and thought about like this epic thing where he like opens the door and it dramatically opens, and it's just a bunch of geese in a chamber, confused and like honking. And I decided that day that geese were the funniest thing in the world to me. And so then I saw that this game was coming out, and I was like, well, I don't care what happens. I'm getting this game.
That's amazing. That's such a good like pre-experience before this ever shows up, and you're like, this is the game for me.
Yeah, and then this was the first game where I ever saw myself represented in a video game, so representation matters.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's incredible. I really like that. That's so funny that was, you already had this in your mind before this ever shows up. Oh my gosh.
I just love geese. They're so obnoxious. I love them because they're terrible.
Yeah, they're the most obnoxious animal, I think. They're so ridiculous. That's amazing. So that's a little bit, I guess, of what we've kind of come in with, I think, coming into this game and some of our experiences with the game before getting too deep into it. So from here, I think what we want to do is talk about some of our like favorite puzzles / pranks, and kind of talk about some of the levels that happen along the way too, sort of share our thoughts. So I guess to you, what was kind of your like, what were some of your like favorite puzzles / like pranks in this game?
I mean, I enjoy so many of them. Like, it's very funny to me to watch pixelated people get angry about stuff, and that's all that this is. The gardener was, for whatever reason, maybe just because he's your first friend, so he's like your first love. He was just exceptionally fun to torment. Like, he was so unhappy about all of it, but he very dutifully just fixes stuff. I would destroy his entire garden just in an effort to get the radio for the picnic, and like he would just slowly, one by one, fix everything. But I especially love it's in the bonus secret to-do list that gets revealed at the end after you've completed the game, when you like have to make somebody from outside of the street area buy back their own item. And so I would just steal his shovel and like honk at him so he continued to follow me, and then just like love making him buy the shovel back.
It's so good. That's awesome. I love that.
What about you?
One of my favorites was, so you have these like two neighbors who are next to each other, and the one neighbor on the right, like if he finds any stuff in his yard that's not his, like I think he's presented as like the neat freak neighbor. And so if you like pull clothes of hers or anything like that, he throws it back over. And so one of the puzzles is you have this vase that's nice that she's working on. If you pull it over, he just tosses it over like, fuck this vase. And then it breaks, and then they start yelling at each other. And it's so funny. It's like, what? It's like, he's just such an aloof dick. Like, even if you don't want it in your yard, like, that's a vase. Don't throw it.
Maybe don't just throw it.
Yeah. Like, I understand if he's, like, throwing the bra back over, like, God, her bra's always in my yard. But, like...
I also love the concept that so much of her stuff over the years has somehow ended up in his yard, that he just casually throws it at this point. Like, what, have geese tormented them before as a pair? Like, unclear. There's a backstory here.
There is, yeah. It's so funny. It's like, to just be like, you know, like if my neighbor's stuff was in my yard, I'd probably go knock on the door and be like, hey, this was over here. You know, something like that. But now he's just tossing it. Without regard as to what it is, he's like, vase, whatever.
Yep.
So that was one I really liked. I also, like you said, I really liked getting someone to buy something back. I think I got the kid to buy his toy back.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Which was funny because it's like he's such a doof anyway. So
Yeah.
just
The shopkeeper just seems like primed to be angry at everybody. Like, the shopkeeper doesn't do anything that anybody else does. Immediately grabs a broom to, like, poke you out of her shop. Like, she just doesn't care about anybody.
Yeah, no, it's true. And her going to that so fast. Like, other ones will try to come to you and take what you have. She just goes for the broom immediately and is like, I'm gonna handle this. Like, yeah, it's good. We had a couple of people write in and say what their favorites were, too. Rory on Twitter said tormenting the kid with glasses was her favorite. I thought that was great. I liked one of the ones in there was like trapping him in the phone booth. You just honk at him until he runs away.
Well, it's great because if you take something from him, he will actually try to chase you like everybody else, but you honk at any point and he gives up so fast. He's like, nope, it's making noise.
It's like, never mind, scary.
I very much enjoy tripping him in the puddle because I'm terrible. I'm an awful person.
There were a couple pranks that would make you kind of feel bad for it. You're like, I know I need to do this, but I feel a little bad. Like
He always gets back up. He's fine.
Yeah, like I felt a little bad pulling the seat out from the old man.
Oh, yeah. He probably needs a hip replacement now.
Yeah, I was like, that seems kind of mean. Instead of only annoying. But that was funny. Next up, we got Larry on Twitter, who said getting the painter to accidentally cut her neighbor's rose or ringing the bell and making the guy spit out his coffee. So both with the neighbors. I did like the rose as well there. I thought that was a good one.
Yeah, I thought the rose was a nice, like, several piece puzzle to put together that, like, is very satisfying once you figure out how to make it happen. Mm-hmm. And it starts another argument between them, so that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Always good. Last one is from Haiku on Twitter, who said, Operation Rake in the Lake, because you could win $1 million from Jeffy if you put the rake in the lake. But actually, there was no Jeffy. You were actually sent by a name named Shadow Jingus. I did put a rake in a lake, but I didn't know that backstory. Are you familiar with that?
No, I've played it 3 times and Shadow Jingus hadn't appeared, but I'm assuming he's like an unlock once you find Mew behind the truck or something. But Rake in the Lake is, I mean, the perfect part about Rake in the Lake is not so much the fact that you're dragging the rake into the lake. Like, I guess that's fine. But it's that the to-do list item is just Rake in the Lake. It's not like, get the rake to the... They just said, nope, Rake in the Lake. It's so good.
It is great. Yeah, I really like that. Okay, perfect. So... Finally, I think from here, we can just start jumping in, talking about the levels, things that stood out to us. So, the beginning of the game really starts out with you're at your goose home, and it's sort of a tutorial. It teaches you a little bit about how the game works. Here's how you honk. For me, it was Y, I think, on Switch, but whatever. Mm-hmm. You learn how to bend down, like lean your neck down. You learn how to like grab something when you're leaned down like that. Yeah, just kind of learn how to run. So it teaches you a couple of your like little moves.
Yeah, pretty simple, straightforward. You're not bothering humans quite yet. You're just understanding how a goose operates.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, your goose instructions. So from here, you head over to the garden, and this is where the gardener, who you mentioned our first love, is where we get to torture him.
Yeah, I mean, it does at this point, like, if you really get down to this round, this one feels especially like bullying because you're just coming after the same person every time. But it's great. I mean, you take his rake to the lake. You have to, like, get him to go into the lake after something. You have to steal his hat and make him change his hat. You have to lock him out of the garden. Like, these are all just, like, very silly things to do.
Yeah. I really like that. You are right. I think all the other ones have multiple people, right? So your wrath is spread out. Instead, this guy is just getting very terrorized.
Yeah. I did find, because a lot of the levels, I think all of them had like a puzzle where it was like gather several items to one area kind of thing. And this one specifically is the picnic. I actually think I find this one to be the most challenging of them because it's a lot of different items. Some of them are like the pumpkin, which is large and hard to drag, or the radio, which makes noise every time you grab it. So it's basically like getting the picnic together is basically a game of, all right, run around the garden and destroy as much as possible so that he's very busy and doesn't notice what you're doing.
Yep. Oh yeah, that was huge because it was like, okay, if he starts chasing me, I'm gonna have enough shit thrown about that he's like, oh, I need to pick this up instead, and gets distracted.
Yep.
Yeah, this is where I discovered which is good to find it out early, but that with getting all the things over there, like, just because you brought the pumpkin over once, if he picks the pumpkin up from your picnic and puts it back, it doesn't count. You have to put it back. Like,
it has to be a full picnic. Everybody has to be in attendance for it to count.
Yep. Yeah. It's not you were once in attendance. It's everyone has to be there, which was a little challenging or tough at times. Not just in this one, but in general. Because you're like you said, you have to create enough terror and chaos around them that they're occupied.
Yeah. It was a lot, for me, it was a lot of keep him occupied at the upper half of the garden and then use the secret hole in the hedge behind the lettuce to drag everything out because I was trying to like just not get his attention in any way, shape, or form.
That's huge.
Although I will say the hardest part of the picnic is the bonus task at the end where it wants you to have a cabbage picnic and just trying to roll the cabbage over there. And I cannot roll a cabbage to save my life, apparently.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I didn't end up doing a lot of the bonus items, so you should definitely sprinkle them in as we talk to him about your favorites.
I finished all of them this time.
Ooh, nice. I got one or two of them like on accident while I was playing when it was like hidden. Like I just ended up doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
While I was doing it before you could like find out, and I like did it and they're like secret to-do list, and I was like, oh cool. But then I didn't end up going back after the end of it. Yeah, Tormenting the Gardener, super fun. I like, too, that a lot of them were simple, like that Rake in the Lake. So, you know, when you were starting out, you could get used to, okay, here's an easy one, like stealing his keys or spraying him with water.
Yeah.
Things like that. They weren't hard. They were like one-step puzzles.
Sorry, I just realized that Get the Gardener Wet could be done with the sprinkler.
Oh, did you take him into the lake?
I took him into the lake.
Oh, that's amazing.
I got him all the way to the lake.
That's amazing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and that's also the fun part is that you will find that like some of these tasks actually have multiple ways and oops, I did the more complicated one.
I like that you got him to follow you into the lake, though. That's great. That's really
I think I made
funny.
him come after me for his hat or something like that. But then I took it so far into the lake that he couldn't get it, and then he had to put the other hat on.
That's what I had happen, actually, now that you're saying it. Because that was the one that took me a while to get right.
Yeah.
Because unless you have, like, enough shit strewn about that he, like, actually bites on it, like, you're just... Because you're not that fast. You're, like, a little fast, but...
Yeah. I think when you're sprinting, you are still a little bit slower than most of them, but you can, like, outrun them for a certain amount of time successfully.
Right, yeah. If you're in a straight line, I felt like it was like, okay, I need to get them to go the long way around something, and I've got a shot. But if I don't, they're gonna catch me. I got caught stealing that hat a lot. That was the one that took me the longest on this one.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely. I also just would habitually, like, if they caught me, I would just like honk incessantly out of anger. I felt like I got road rage as the
You're just like, I will not stop honking at you now.
I'm gonna make your life terrible somehow.
Right, yeah, exactly. That's great. So, okay, we torment our gardener for quite a while in a multitude of ways, which is great. Our final puzzle that we have here that basically lets us into the next area. Also, you have, I guess also we didn't say this exactly, but you start each level with a list of, I don't know, 5 to 8 puzzles probably to do. And then depending on as you complete them, sometimes you might get 1 or 2 thrown in afterwards that sort of maybe build off of a concept or, just because you've done enough. So this one, you get a final puzzle, which is you need to get him to hit his thumb. And so he puts up a sign that's like no geese kind of thing. And so when he's about to hammer down, you honk at him. He accidentally hits his hand. He falls and he like opens up his door to his backyard, basically. Yep. And that lets you access to the street. So
it does build further into the lore that either this goose or other geese torment this village regularly, because every single area they have a no goose sign ready to go.
Yeah, once people are angry enough, they put up the no geese sign, the no goose sign. Yeah, which is great. Yeah, I love that.
That's gonna do anything. Like, I'm not gonna stop coming in.
Right, yeah. Oh, you have a sign about me? It's fine.
Cool.
So, okay. We then move from here to the street. And the street, we have a new group of characters to terrorize. We've got a kid who's kind of a nerd who's just like kicking a soccer ball on the street. You've got the shopkeeper who we talked about with the broom. And then also you actually have a TV store owner who's inside their store. Right there. And so this is who you can kind of rain terror on next.
Yeah, this is where it starts to get interesting because you're like engaging some of the people at the same time. You know what I mean? Like if you're trying to do things, you kind of need to, not that, if you steal something from the shop, the kid doesn't really care. But if you're trying to kind of like do things that require you to take something from the shop and get it to the kid, or like get the kid out of the way and the TV shop owner out of the way so you can get inside the TV shop, like you have to like work a little harder to make sure that you've got all of them occupied.
No, yeah. It feels like the moving parts kind of thing. You're like, all right, how do I... Yeah, you're right. Because the shopkeeper won't like defend the kid for you or vice versa. Like,
right.
That doesn't really matter, but they could almost be like a living obstacle for you if you were trying to run away and you run into the other one and you'd get caught or whatever. So, yeah, with this one, I think one of the ones we mentioned, right, is getting someone to buy back their own items. This one's an easy spot to do this here. If you take something from the kid and put it in the shopkeeper's assortment of items, they'll walk up and be like, oh, I want a soccer ball, and buy the one you stole. Switching the glasses, that's a good one here too.
Oh, it's very fun.
The shopkeeper has a bunch of glasses, and so you make the kid trip, right?
Yep. Every time he trips, he loses his glasses. He pulls a Velma Dinkley, crawls around, and if his glasses are right in front of him, he gets them and puts them right back on. So basically, you need to trip him, have another pair of glasses at the ready, steal his glasses, drop the new pair in front of him, and he's like, oh, here they are, and then just puts them on.
It's great.
Clearly, the prescription must not be that bad, because if he could just put on whatever pair of glasses, he's doing okay.
Right. He's just like, it's fine, I guess. I'm trying to think of what else was in here that I really liked. I liked getting on TV. That's one of the ones, right, for the shopkeeper.
Getting on TV is fun.
That's fun.
You could also, I did two for one, because this was my fourth playthrough. I don't know. I used this game to make me happy again during COVID times.
Oh, nice.
So I've played it several times. So I already kind of know some of the like to do as well items like memorized. So I also knew that there was one of those bonus objectives later on that was open the umbrella inside the TV shop. So I do a 2-for-1. I just get on TV and then open the umbrella so everyone can see me do it.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
And of course it was the rainbow umbrella because pride.
Right? No, yeah.
It's the only correct choice.
No, that's awesome. That's great. This level's fun. I like, again, like we said, the introduction to more people, and that they can interact with each other a little bit. Like they walk in the same areas. Finally, I think once you do enough of the pranks, Oh, maybe it's after you trap her in the garage. Is that once this
I think
opens
trapping
up?
her in the garage is the
Final.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause
So
then she opens up the garage to like get the goose sign out, I think.
and then
And
then she
you
opens
can
the
start
gate.
trapping her, and then she has to open the gate to get around the other way. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. That makes sense. That one's fun too.
The number of times I trap her in the garage just for fun because it makes me laugh.
It's so funny. It's so satisfying too that you just like, lead her there, and there's just you have some items you've stolen back there, and she's like, "Oh, I gotta get them." Yoink! You're trapped.
She just falls for it every time.
That's really satisfying. I really like.
I managed to trap both her and the boy in there at the same time, and that was a very satisfying, successful venture for me.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's not even a to-do. I mean, you're supposed to... One of the bonus ones is to trap the boy in the garage, so it's like a 2-for-1 deal if you do it that way. But you're not supposed to do it at the same time. I just did that for fun.
I feel like you deserve your own achievement, like a double achievement.
I think I do, too. I should have a platinum trophy. Thank you very much, Switch.
Yeah. House needs to give you an extra achievement. That's amazing. That's so funny. I know you couldn't do it because like it would take too long. But what if you could like trap the whole village in the garage?
Oh my god! You could probably. I mean, like, I'd be willing to bet you could like get the gardener in there. Because the gardener will follow you if you take his stuff to the shop. So if you just took it into the garage, I imagine he would go in to get it.
That'd be so funny if you just managed to trap everyone in there. Like the people who get in can't get out because it's not their house or something, and you just keep getting people.
Just like,
guess I'm here. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so that's the street, I would say. Now we go to the gardens, which are our two neighbors. As we mentioned earlier, we've got on the right side of this duplex, essentially. On the right side, you've got this kind of neat, proper neighbor. His house is very orderly kind of guy who seems maybe more rigid, that sort of deal. Then on the left is more his artistic, free spirit neighbor. She's doing art. She like hangs her clothes out to dry, that kind of stuff. And you have a variety of pranks involving the two of them, including them getting mad at each other.
Yeah, it's they seem to have the most backstory of any characters. I'm very interested in their relationship with each other. I also particularly love the gather everything one of this because it's do the laundry.
Yeah.
It just means you have to steal a bunch of clothes, put them in a pond with a bar of soap.
It's so funny.
It's great. It's great. And then I just love when he like eventually notices and gets all the stuff out and he puts his slipper back on. I'm like, dude, that slipper is soaking wet. What are you doing?
That's so good. I like that one a lot too. Or stealing it, and you steal his slippers out from under him too. You have to steal both of them, right? At one point. That one's really funny too, is that you have to like time it to when he puts his leg up and he's looking at his paper and you just swoop. I'm going to take this. And it's even funny seeing him walk around when he has one on and one off. It just feels funny. Like, you just feel like he's so annoyed. It's like trying to read his paper and you're just fucking with his yard.
I'm just trying to live my morning life. Leave me alone. He's probably British. I feel like this is a very British game.
That is how I would imagine him being too. That's spot on. Yeah, because he has a cricket bat.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you're right.
Maybe Australian. I think House Australian? I believe they are.
Oh, I think you're right, actually, now that you're saying that.
Then that's basically British.
Yeah.
It's British with more animals that want to kill you, that's all.
More swears, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, so other ones, we wash the clothes, we break the vase, we chop the rose. That one's fun because, like you said, it's pretty satisfying. You have this award-winning rose, and it's in a garden thing, but you can like pull it forward. Like there's almost like a rail of sorts,
right.
And you can pull it forward, and you get the artistic woman across next door to cut it by like messing up her bushes there. And so she's like, "Oh, I need to trim the bushes," and then she'll accidentally cut it. which of course leads to a giant fight.
I think my favorite one in this area, actually, like, not in terms of like comedy, but in terms of makes my heart warm. I love impersonating the goose statue and getting a ribbon around my neck.
That's so good. It's so funny that she doesn't notice. She's just like, oh.
She just puts it there. You can even literally, she'll put it on you. Like, I did this just to see what would happen. She'll put it on you, and then as soon as she starts walking away, you just honk. And she just sort of like, what? But then continues to walk away.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It was great.
That's so good.
Meanwhile, the old man stole it back from me, which was rude. Like, what are you worried about this for? It's on my neck. It's not in your yard. Leave it alone.
Yeah, that sucks. Go away, guy. At first in this one too, I got worried I got stuck because she you break through her fence, right, to come through from his. Mm-hmm. And then she'll patch it back up with some line. And that happened to me one time. And I was like, oh, am I stuck here? But you can break that desk and then climb back over to his which is also fun, making a ramp. And you just feel kind of
absolutely
triumphant jumping over that.
I love that she doesn't, like, her response to, like, the drawer has been pulled out of my desk and the whole thing collapsed is not fixing the desk. It's just, I'll just put the drawer over here.
She's like, it's fine.
That's very relatable to me. I'd be like, I'll fix that in like a week. I don't care.
Someday. So, from here, once you do all your pranks, you end up being able to go to kind of the walkway next to her house, right? That lets you leave to go to the bar.
Mm-hmm. Well, it lets you get into the yard beside her, and then you walk through that house.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Which is great, because if you take anything into that house, they throw it out with you. It's fun.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't get thrown out with anything.
I don't remember what I stole. I can't remember. But I had something in my mouth. And I was like, uh-oh, did I lose the item? And it got thrown right after me. And I was like, never mind. It's my item. That's
amazing. Take this and your bow. Stay out. So, okay, then you get to a pub. So this really boosts the, I guess, interactivity, because there's, maybe like 5 people here?
Yeah, there's a bunch. Although, like, the 2 ladies eating lunch truly are never coming at you. They don't care. They just want you to perform for them.
No, yeah. They're totally fine. When I was there, to me, it felt like everyone was regulars there or worked there, except for the 2 ladies who were like, oh, this is fun.
This is new. Wow.
Right. So I guess your big obstacle to start this puzzle is that you've got essentially like a bouncer waiting who's like, no, we don't serve ducks at this bar.
Right, well, you left your ID at home.
Right. He says, get out. So you're like, all right, I got to sneak into this bar. And that sort of sets you on your reign of terror here.
Yes. And it's great. I mean, I think I kind of like that, where it's like, you enter a new area and it gives you access to a new to-do list. You're like, great, I got to do all these things. But then you realize you actually can't get to any of them until you solve an initial puzzle.
Yeah. I guess, because the gardener does the same thing, right? Because you have to get him to come out and open.
Oh, yeah, you do.
At the beginning. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but you can sneak in through the hole in the hedge whenever, if you know that it's there.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You can sneak in that way. That's interesting. I didn't think about that. Each one you do have to enter, because you have to break things at the neighbor's house. You have to get the gardener to fall through the door to open you to the street. No, that's great. So you have to figure your way in.
I would say this one, the interesting thing about the pub is, like, this one has the most people that are just actively going to come after you, even if you don't have an item. Like, they just don't want you in the pub.
That's true. People are like, oh, you're a goose on the street. Fine. You're a goose in the garden.
Although they also have the memory of goldfish. Because, like, you can just walk under the porch and they're like, oh, is the goose gone? All right.
Right. Or under the tables on the patio. So you have, again, a variety of things. You have the old man falling that I alluded to earlier. He's like playing darts. You pull his seat out right from under him, and he falls on his butt. That one feels a little mean, but you do it. I liked, like you mentioned earlier, getting awarded the flower from the two ladies, because they give you like sort of instructions on like, oh, look like this, spread your wings, and you're like, cool, I'll spread my wings, or honk or whatever, and you do the things, and then they clap for you and give you a flower as your like reward, which I thought was fun. As a like,
well, the flowers are cute too, because one of the bonus things is collect all 5 flowers, and there's like a little basket over by a wishing well that you have to get them into. Yeah, because there's a flower in every location. Like there's the flower in the garden. There's like the little tulip that you can like dig up from the gardener. There's a lily that happens to be sitting in the back of the shop that you never have to interact with, but it's there. There's the rose that you trick the artist into cutting. And then there's this daisy that these ladies give you. And then there's a carnation in the model village at the end. And so you have to get all 5 to the basket and collect them for one of the bonus objectives.
Oh, that's fun. I like that a lot.
It's very cool. Although that's when you start to realize it's very hard to get stuff out of the pub because the bouncer comes at you if you come near the door.
Oh yeah, it is really hard to get out of there. You have to like honk
you
at
have
him
to
on
get
one
him to come around to the other side of like the hole and then like run through it basically.
No, yeah, and then just be faster, but then not get caught by the lady by the truck.
Yep.
Yeah, that little section was tough and a little bit for me. That was a little chaotic there, but I'm trying to think of what else happens here that's fun.
You have to set the table. I think setting the table is very cute.
Oh, I like that too. That was fun. And then once you ultimately get through this, you are able to jump out the back area by the trash cans, right? That's where you get out there. Okay. So that's the pub, I guess. Is there anything else you'd want to talk about at the pub? I feel like that's...
I don't think so. I mean, the toy boat is an interesting puzzle to me just because it's like you have to find a way to get that lady distracted for long enough to get the toy boat high enough to grab it and then get it. Like, it's a little bit of like... It feels even more micromanagey than the gardener because she will not always like go fix items. She just comes after you.
That's true. She's much more persistent than...
But then it's very cute once you get the toy boat and, like, you put it in the water, and then one of the secret objectives is to sail it under a bridge, so then you're just, like, nudging the boat through the canal.
That's fun. I like that a lot, too. I should have done these secret objectives. I messed up.
They're cute. They're challenging. Like, probably the hardest one is score a goal. So if you remember in The Artist, when you finish with the artist, in the yard next to her, there's like a goal. You have to literally take the kid's soccer ball from High Street and get it through the old man's yard, into the woman's yard, through her bushes, into the other yard, and then get it into the goal.
Oh my gosh.
It's a time.
No, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's quite the challenge.
And then that whole yard is like a hill, so the soccer ball doesn't want to go in the goal no matter what you do.
Oh wow, that's wild.
Yeah,
that's a good one as well.
You leave. And then my favorite one is get the lady to put the ribbon on you again, and then go perform for the ladies at the pub with the ribbon on. That's an objective, and it's so funny to me.
That's amazing. I like that a lot. That's great. That's so funny.
Basically, like, I just want to be a cute goose for the rest of the game. That's my goal.
Oh, yeah. I feel like if you've got the ribbon on you, if you can just keep it the rest of the game, that'd be really nice.
Yeah.
After the pub, though, you make it to the model village. And so you need to get into the model village, and there's like a church bell at the top of that. And so you have to kind of maneuver your way around. Then you get to the church, and you destroy the church so the bell will fall down. And then your objective is run the bell all the way home. And you're like, oh my God, how am I going to do this?
Yep.
And
because
so,
you can't move without it making noise to attract attention.
Yeah. So if you're like walking, it's like a little lighter. And then, of course, when you're running, it's ring, 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 ring.
Yep.
And so you're really trying to like navigate your way through this, and people will take the bell from you.
Yeah.
So then you have to take it back.
It seems this is once again where I'm like, geese do this to them a lot because everyone in the village goes on high alert at that point.
Oh, yeah. So then this was where I got stuck going back through the pub between
Oh, yeah.
the bouncer guy and the delivery woman. That was a part where I got stuck for a minute. Fortunately, they don't like take it all the way back to the church. They like will put it somewhere else.
Oh, good. I didn't know that. I never actually... I might have had it taken away from me, like, in my first couple of tries, but I was very successful this last time, so I was always like, I wonder where it goes if they take it.
I think they leave it somewhere in their location.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I got it stolen by the neighbors a little bit, too, on my way through there. And it didn't, like, go back to the pub. So
Right.
it does seem to give you...
Of course, the woman has finally repaired her desk, so then you have to, like, put it down and get the desk broken again.
Oh, yep. Exactly. So that's good. I feel like that's sort of kind of them.
Yeah.
Or that they don't let you go back all the way to the beginning. Cause,
Yeah, it's not like that full game over kind of moment.
yeah, because that would be kind of tough to have to go all the way back to the model. And then, if you made it all the way to the gardener and he steals it and then send it back, like that would kind of suck. So
Yeah.
I'm glad they don't do that to us. Instead, you just get to torment everyone, of course. You're ringing your bell all the way home. Everyone's mad at you. You finally get it back to your house. And then once you go sort of further into where your home is, you throw it into this hole, and there's several other bells in the pile. So you've at least done this a couple times.
Yeah. And I like that the village has been stubborn enough that they're like, well, we're just going to keep rebuilding this church. We know the goose is going to come back, but we're going to do it anyway.
Right. You'd think they'd just not have a bell. They'd just be like, next time our church...
like, maybe this isn't working out.
Yeah, right.
Maybe we could spend our money on more important things as a village.
Yeah, it seems like if they were kind, they could just give up. Or if they're evil, like, I don't know, poison the church or something. And
Oh my god.
but instead they just have dealt with this goose terrorizing their town, which was amazing. I loved that. That was such a good ending to it.
Oh yeah.
Throw it and you're like, oh, a pile of bells. Like, this isn't... I do this all the time. All right. So, yeah, those, I guess, are the levels, more or less. Some of our favorite puzzles. I guess moving to sort of final thoughts I have on this. For me, I'm really glad I played this game. It's super fun. I definitely want to play whatever House makes next. I'm curious about this cat dog looking game now and feel like I should check that out because it does seem to fit the same weird, funny kind of vibe. So... yeah, well done with this. This is a fun game.
Yeah, I think, obviously, like I said, I was very charmed by the idea of being a goose in a game and being obnoxious, but these sort of like sandboxy puzzle type things, I don't know. In my brain, I always think that they're not going to be able to like grab my interest that well, but I was just like super engaged. I was like, nope, I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to torture like it was just the interactions were so satisfying. The way the people would respond, it feels very alive. It like, the first time that I played this game, I was working at the Broadway theater that I bartended at, and they were saying some dramatic, sad, it was either sad or angry. It was a very emotional, dramatic monologue. And we were hearing it over the speakers because when we're out in the lobby behind the bar, like they play the on the monitors, like the whole show. So anybody who's coming out to go to the bathroom can still hear what's happening on stage. So a dramatic monologue, this is the report from my fellow bartender. Dramatic monologue is happening. She is sitting over there just like reading her book because like during act 1 of the show, we're just hanging out because we need to bartend at intermission again. And I've pulled out my Switch and I'm playing Goose Game for the very first time ever. And so she said, I'm hearing this terrible dramatic monologue that I've heard a million times. And then all of a sudden you just start giggling and don't stop giggling. I was like, that sounds about right.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I love it. I think there's so many just like Yeah, like I said, the interactions are charming, the art style is charming, the soundtrack is like perfect because it's just simple little piano moments and like stuff, and it doesn't. At first, I thought it was a walking soundtrack, so it was like whenever you were moving, and then I realized no, it's not. It's whenever you're being obnoxious. The more obnoxious you're being, the louder it gets. So you get rewarded by the music for being a force of chaos.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so good.
It's great.
I like that a lot. Yeah, I was giggling the whole way in this, and I felt like even when some puzzles were pretty frustrating, even if there were ones that I didn't get, and I think I looked up like one or two because I was like when I thought I was stuck in the neighbor's yard, I was like, I don't know what to do. I can't get back through here. And then found out about the desk. Like when they were explained, I was like, oh, cool, that makes sense. Which is good because I feel like sometimes puzzle games explain them, and you're like, that no one would have ever got that on their own.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah.
I hate that. These ones, when I'm wrong and it gets explained, I'm like, oh, cool. That's fine. I get that. That makes sense. Like, I just need to enact my puzzle better. More distractions or whatever it may be. Which I think is great. And like you said earlier, a lot of things can be done more than one way, which is pretty cool. Like, I'm glad that... like you said earlier, that you've played it multiple times and having a replay value in that. Some games like this probably could just be the enjoyment was had in the time it was, and that's great. But to be able to come back, like I could see myself coming back and, just raining some terror on someone for a little while, for sure.
Yeah, it's just a cute little giggle for a second. It's not like something you're going to sink a ton of time into a replay of, but, and for me... I don't think I did all of the bonus to-do list items the first time I played, so there were those to kind of come back and try. And then on this replay, I did the timer challenge ones that pop up at the end, which is like complete the to-do list for each area within 6 minutes, which I hate timer challenges and like blah, blah, blah. But the idea that there's multiple ways to do some of these things, you actually will like suddenly find the faster ways to achieve the tasks, and it becomes this very like high pressure but very satisfying when I managed to like get the last thing done just before the church bell rang, and I was like, yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome. I'm not one for timer challenges either, but I could see that again, just getting more
the picnic
familiar.
Was stressful, let me tell you. Like literally it says 1 minute left and I'm trying to drag this pumpkin as fast as I can.
Oh, that's amazing. I think what serves it too is that coming back to this game, it's so short. I mean, it's what, like 2 hours on the high end, probably. So like, it's not something where even if you were like, I replayed the whole thing again or did the all the bonus list or the timed or anything, it's probably still only 4 hours or something like that. Like, it's not that long, which is cool.
And each individual area is like its own contained thing. Each task is its own thing. So you can like stop whenever, you can pick it up wherever. It's very just like playable.
Yeah, super user friendly. I played a lot of it on like lunch breaks at work. And it was great. It was like, cool, I'll play this for 25 minutes on my break. This is great. Can enjoy it, laugh, it's fun, move on, go back to work, whatever. So, yeah, really great in that regard. I'm very glad this exists. I think also, I mentioned them earlier, but I do like that with like Goose Game, Donut County, Rain on Your Parade, like this kind of thing, that there's sort of this like puzzly comedy game thing that's going on these days. I think that's really good. That games can be a lot of things, that they don't have to only be this or that, but...
Yes, very much agree. Especially in this world where we're kind of in... this is a broad sweeping brush, but I feel like a lot of AAA games lately end up with the same general coat of paint and live in a similar kind of world to each other, and I love when we get indie games that are trying different stuff.
Yeah, totally. It's so valuable that that's happening, and that it's like... Just like I feel like it's just, again, widening what games are, which lets it be more for other people. Like, I could see someone liking this and being like, I like these little short puzzle games where you prank people. That's about it. Cool.
Right, and this is the kind of thing that might appeal to somebody, if they're like a mobile gamer, if all they do is play like Candy Crush and stuff like that, little low stakes puzzle type stuff. This could get people who aren't gamers into the Switch, you know what I mean? I love, or any system. It's on a lot of systems at this point, but like, Yeah, it's I feel like it can appeal to a wider base and a different base of people than some games do.
Yeah, yeah, that it doesn't have to be like, oh, if you like games, you have to play something that's 30 hours or
As
whatever.
if adults have that kind of time.
No, right, exactly. This is so perfect for being an adult. You can pick it up, you can drop it. It's not too long, it's not too hard. It's all of that stuff. That's so helpful. I mean, it is challenging, but like it's not like super super easy, but it's not like the hardest game ever or something either. I don't know. There are puzzles I didn't
comedy. I think there's something about incorporating comedy and silliness that alleviates some of that frustration. You know what I mean? You're like frustrated, but also like it made you laugh, so you keep going.
Yeah, that's true. I think so too. Other games I would maybe get frustrated in a different way. This one, it was more, there were times where I was like, all right, there's something I'm not getting.
Right.
What is it? Sort of thing. And then it's like, oh, okay, cool, I can do that. But yeah, all around, Goose Game, awesome game. Very glad to play it. Very glad we've gotten to talk about it.
Definitely.
Do you have anything else you want to say before we move to listener feedback about it?
I think let's hear from them.
Perfect. Okay. First up, we've got Matt, who says, I love this dang game so much. Goofy, charming, and so fun to play. I've beaten it a few times, and it always puts a smile on my face. Also, the minimalist soundtrack is perfection. The multiplayer rules as well. So chaotic. Have you played the multiplayer at all?
Nope. I don't think I even knew that there was multiplayer before I read this note yesterday, and I haven't had time since yesterday to like look at it. I think I'm a very anti-multiplayer person because I felt like I tried to do multiplayer online stuff when I was like a teenager and just got bullied so much. So I was like, nope, I'm never playing multiplayer on anything. Bye. So I didn't realize there was a multiplayer. I kind of want to see what it is now.
I'm curious about it too.
Are you just trying to be like the most chaotic Goose? Because that's my dream.
Ooh. Or is there like, do you prank together? Like, is it co-op? Like,
It's just Super Smash Brothers, but Goose.
whoever gets the hammer first. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be very curious as to what that is. I'm similar to you. I don't play any multiplayer games. I feel like when I play them, just in general, is that people are much much better at them, and so it doesn't
Same.
be fun. It's not fun in that way. Then it's
Right,
like,
you're either stressed that you're letting everybody down, or they're openly telling you that you're letting them down.
yeah, or you're just getting crushed by people.
Yeah.
None of those are great, and for me, I'm like, I want video games to relax, or at least sort of relax, like how I want to, and so this is, being mad isn't part of that for me. But I bet this would be fun, whether it's together and who's most chaotic, like you said, or if you do it together and it's like, I just imagine that there could be a puzzle of like, the kid, you steal the glasses from the kid goes down, the other goose honks at him, then you honk at him and he falls over, like, I could see there being silly puzzles that involve two of you terrorizing someone.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Which I could see it being enjoyable, especially if you could do it like together, like if you and someone else with their Switch were in the same room and you did like the local co-op or whatever.
Yep.
That could be a blast. If it's that. I don't know if it is. I didn't look either. But yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We'll have to.
Or you can find out, listener. I don't know. That was the cheesiest thing I've ever said on a podcast.
Tell us, actually, about it. I would want to know. If someone, I know Matt has obviously played online or multiplayer.
Matt, your homework, Matt, is you have to write an essay about the Goose multiplayer. Tell us what it is.
Goose multiplayer, or anyone else. I would love to know more about this and feel like maybe I need to get one of my friends to play a local co-op Goose, if that's a thing. Okay. Now on to Nikki. Nikki on Twitter says, hilarious, outstanding, nerve-wracking, kick-ass, probably the most fun and frustrating puzzle game I've ever played. Great soundtrack, super cute graphics. Never got to finish it, though. I think I got stuck at the restaurant. Peace was never an option.
Very true.
Yeah. I love that became like a meme or whatever from this of peace was never an option, Goose with the knife in his mouth. Love it. And I like that I got to enjoy that a lot before playing, and now playing it, just boosting that enjoyment. Super great.
It's also so cute. I was telling my friend about this game who does not play video games at all, but she knows that I love geese. And she and I both had COVID at the same time, so we were just texting a lot. And I was telling her I was playing this game again, and she was like, "Excuse me, what is this game? Why is it perfect for you?" And so I kept just sending her pictures of the goose proudly carrying stuff he had stolen.
That's amazing. That's so funny. Last up, we've got Larry on Twitter. Said, I absolutely loved Untitled Goose Game. I own it on PC and PlayStation, and I even bought the physical edition with the OST on vinyl. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. That's big fandom right there. That's awesome. It's cool when you love a game enough to want to go do that. You're like, all right, I already own it, but I'm getting it again. I want it on physical, or I want the soundtrack. I want this. Oh, that's great. When you have a game that you feel that way about, that's just such a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to either get physical right away or just go digital. You know what I mean? I feel like I make that choice prior to the game. And it would really take a lot of charm for a game to turn me the other direction and make me go buy it a second time. So the fact that this game has achieved that for Larry is great.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I have anything I've bought twice that way. I almost did it with Night in the Woods, but I didn't end up buying it soon enough. But I have it on PlayStation, and I almost bought a physical copy on Switch, but then I didn't end up doing it. But that was when I thought about it.
I've never done a digital to a physical, but I have had games that I've bought them for multiple platforms. I guess if you get technical, I've done it with Kingdom Hearts, just because I already owned Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, but then the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 final mix has both of, you know what I mean? Some of the compilation releases I have bought, so I guess I've bought that multiple times. And then I think I own 3 versions of Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X is my favorite game of all time, so of course. But they're all physical copies. It's just me buying it for different PlayStations.
Do you have it for... What PlayStations do you have it for? Do you have it?
2, 3, and I think 4.
Okay, wow. That's cool. I guess I could see buying a game too if I had it on PlayStation, but I wanted a Switch version in general, just because the on the go ability of Switch.
Yes, confirmed. 2, 3, and 4. I found it on my shelf.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome.
And that's more just because I could still play it on my PlayStation 2. My PlayStation 2, last I checked, is still functional, but it's in a drawer and put away. And doesn't have trophies. And I just want trophies. And I think it was when we went to play it for... Oh, do you know what it was? I had it for PlayStation 3 because it had the remaster with Final Fantasy X-2. And so I bought the coupled together pairing, even though I owned both of those games separately. But then I decided I wanted to do a playthrough of it on my ill-fated YouTube channel. And so to record it, I wanted to record it on the PS4 instead. So I also bought it for the PS4 for that, and then never finished uploading that playthrough. So here we are.
You should just start that playthrough back up right where you were.
No, it's done. It all got recorded. I just don't want to edit, so it's never gonna happen.
Oh, dang!
I'm too lazy.
That I can understand that. I think that would be funny though if you were at a certain spot and then just several years later you just pick up at that same spot.
So, oh, here goes this again.
and don't act like anything's different. Wear the same outfit from before. Don't act like anything's changed. You're I
still have the footage from before, I think. I think it's saved somewhere, so it would still just be me from 5 years ago. It could be a Throwback Thursday at this point. Just
That's
upload
true.
it every Thursday as a giant throwback.
Oh, that'd be funny. That would be fun.
No, that YouTube channel's dead. I don't like editing videos, and I don't want to do it, so I'm never going to do it.
No, I get that. Editing. I can't imagine editing a video. I don't like it. Yeah, editing's not great in general, but especially for a video, I feel like that would be not fun.
Yeah.
But, okay, I would say we've covered Untitled Goose Game. We've gotten through a lot of terror. We've terrorized a lot of people in this village, gotten to enjoy their suffering and be part of it, so that was great. I guess kind of to wrap up, where can people find you? Anything else you want to like promote or talk about before we wrap up?
Yeah. I mean, I'm at Andrew Orsi on Twitter. That is probably the only social media that I'm really remotely active on at any point, and even that is very sporadic. But like technically, you could also try to follow me on Instagram if you feel like it. I won't ever satisfy you with a post, but so in lieu of that, follow Black to Gold Music on Instagram instead of me, and then you'll occasionally see me. There you go.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, go check Andrew out, follow him, talk to him. Again, go into the Good Game, Great Game archive. I think you guys did like 60-ish, 70 episodes, so there's quite a bit out there.
It was 2 years worth of episodes, and we did them approximately every 2 weeks, except when we didn't. So.
Right. No, there's a lot out there. A lot of great games on there. So if you want more Andrew podcasts talking about games, it does exist. And I'll also have links to all of that inside the description for this. So please go check that stuff out. For us, if you want to talk to me on Twitter, I'm at StoryEverPod. Our website's TheGreatestStoryEverPlayed.com. That has a backlog of all of our episodes, including the last day of June that Andrew was on for last year. And then, our Patreon's patreon.com/TheGreatestStoryEverPlayed. If you want to donate as little as $1 per month, that will get you access to monthly bonus episodes we do that are more topical about gaming. So we talked about like our favorite Pokemon or our favorite games from childhood, things like that. So if that interests you, go check that out. Lastly, if you'd want to support the podcast but can't financially, totally get it. If you would want to like rate or review us on like Apple Podcast or Spotify, any of that stuff, that would go really far. Share it with a friend, whatever. Like, just go really far in just helping people, I don't know, find us and enjoy games with us together. I think that's one of the best things about this is getting to share in games with other people. So, we'd appreciate it if you do that. Yeah, we'll see you next time.